Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, are you tired of not having enough credits on your account? Do you need a ship that will bring you a nice, consistent flow of credits into your pocket? Well, do we have the video for you guys today with our top 5 money-making ships, credit printing machines in 2023. I have done this in the past, but the issue is, well, as I'm sure most of you can remember, a few months ago we had the economic rework. And in those previous lists, or standalone videos when we were talking about money-making premiums, we were talking about ships that had special economic bonuses with their camos. That is no longer the case today, as, again, I'm sure as most of you are aware, the economic rework kind of standardized the bonuses you can get in game, so there's no longer any of these super special premium camos that will just, inflate your money printing capabilities to no end. That doesn't happen anymore. It's more about what can the ship do and how good is it at doing that. That's what we're going over today. But guys, it is the week of Carrier Con. I will be aboard the USS Hornet in Alameda, California this weekend for their Carrier Con 2023 event. They invited me out there to join one of their panels for the event, which looks like it's going to be an awesome experience and time. So if you're in the Alameda, that's the San Francisco Bay Area, make sure to come out and check out the event. You can see IRL Sealord there. There's also going to be an Anchors Away event on the second day hosted by Wargaming. So if you are in the Bay Area this weekend, it's going to be one heck of a time to come out and visit the Hornet, and I hope to see you guys there. So let's go ahead and get right on into the list, shall we? Starting out with number 5, which is the Tier 9 Premium American Destroyer, the Black. Now, the Black is in the 5th slot for 2 reasons. One, it does cost quite a bit. Now, this is a coal ship. The ship is completely free, but it does cost a lot of coal. She is tied with the Nushishimi as being the most expensive coal ship in the game. So if you want to get this ship for free, which I highly encourage you to do, I'm actually not even sure if it's even available to purchase outright in the premium shop. But I would, either way, encourage you to get it for coal. It's going to take a hot minute to get. Now, in my opinion, it is well worth it. Why? Well, we'll get into that in a second. What's the other reason why it's at number 5, Sealord? Well, it is a DD. And DDs, they take a lot to play. I know we all like to shout at DD players and things like that. We all hate being torpedoed from, well, seemingly nowhere at times, but they are very, very, very high skill floor boats. You have to know what you're doing in order to play a DD very well. So those are 2 reasons why she's at number 5. Everything else about the ship, if you can get those down, is great. So she's so great because she's so good at doing one of the most profitable things in this game, taking caps. The American destroyers are pretty decent cap contesters and cap fighters. At least they were back in the day. Of course, with today's World Warships, things have gotten a little crazy with what we're bolting onto ships now. But the Black is still one of the best cap contesting DDs today. Why? Well, she's got 2 big things going for her. One is the American smokescreen, that very long duration American smoke. And 2 is radar. Now, the Pan-Euro DDs are coming out, and supposedly they are going to be equipped with radar and smoke. They're still in testing, so that could change, but as of right now, the Black's got that wombo combo going for her. So what that allows you to do is go to a cap, like you see in the match in the background, back into it, and, well, start taking it, and wait for the enemy DDs to come to you. And what will happen most of the time is the enemy DD will go into the cap, pop smoke, and just sit there, or they'll see you pop smoke and sit there, and then you smack your radar button, and, well, you see them now, and you have the full firepower of a Fletcher-class destroyer at your disposal to make their day a terrible day, while they can't see you while you're in your American smoke. So that means the Black is quite good at dealing with destroyers. And you might be thinking, well, Sealord, that's not going to net me a lot of damage. No, it won't, but you don't get rewarded on the sheer amount of damage alone. You get rewarded in the game's economic systems by the percentage of damage done to an enemy ship versus their overall HP. So what you see me do here to this Akazuki, I think I get like half, 3/4 of the way through his HP before the carrier comes and drops some torpedoes on him and finishes him off. Doing that is exactly the same as if I had farmed out a GK from full health to half health. Doesn't matter that with the GK I would have gotten 50,000 damage versus I think what I get like 13,000 off of this Akazuki. It doesn't matter. The game rewards you exactly the same. And the black is very good at doing this. So, put 2 and 2 together, and that's one easy way that you're going to be printing credits in the black. The second way is that, well, taking the cap. Taking the cap, getting a solo cap ribbon, is one of the most rewarding ribbons you can get in this game. It will instantly pretty much ensure that you've made profit that game. And then couple that on top of the fact that, like I just said, the black's great for dealing with enemy DDs. You got a nice little credit printer here. Now, again, it does take a bit more skill to use and to get the most out of it. But if you get her down, she will do you just fine. Now, beyond that, of course, too, it is still a Fletcher. It's still an American DD. It's great at HE spamming. So once you deal with the enemy DDs and such, you can just turn around and go after their cruisers or battleships and just farm to your little heart's content. Now, she does have some quite slow torpedoes. They go a blistering hot 43 knots. Oddly enough, I've had more success with these torpedoes than some faster torpedoes, I guess because they're so flippin' slow. No one really expects them to show up because they thought you already launched torpedoes, but they work quite well for throwing them down channels and things, or at battleships that are trying to bow tank or just sit wherever they are at. So, that's the black. Great little DD. One I would highly recommend you guys pick up. And again, play the objective, go for the caps, murder those DDs, make credits. Alright, going on down to number 4, we have the Tier 9 German cruiser, the Agir. Now, the Agir is a ship that you can get for free XP at this moment. However, in I think 2 or 3 updates from now, I think it's 2 updates from now, she will be removed for free XP, but re-added in for coal. So right now you can get her pretty reasonably easy. Free XP is something that's not a very difficult thing to farm in this game at the moment, but no need to worry. It's not like she's being removed and never coming back in. You can get her for coal once she gets exchanged over for that. But anyway, what makes the Agir so great? Well, she has German AP for starters. You get some fantastic guns on the ship. If you've never been on the receiving end of German AP, it hurts. It hurts really flippin' bad. You can easily chunk battleships, especially if it's something ironically like a German battleship or a battleship with chunkier armor. You can easily just chew through their armor at like 10 to 12 to 15k a salvo, depending upon where you hit. And of course, against other cruisers, the AP is going to absolutely eviscerate them. On top of that, too, the Agir is a pretty tough cruiser as well. She is one of the tougher large cruisers in my opinion. Not the toughest, but definitely tougher than some of the other ones that we've been getting recently. On top of that as well, you have hydro torpedoes. You just have a sweet little ship here that's great for dealing damage. Now, her HE is pretty anemic as well. It is a German HE, so of course it can't be that great because we can't have nice things. But honestly, with the AP on this ship, I really can't sing its praises enough. Honestly, at times, unless you just want to break the modules on destroyers, just keep the AP loaded. You'll be doing more damage like that. And the ship's pretty fun to play too, because it is a German ship. She has torpedoes. She's great for close-in engagement. She was going to be the secondary large cruiser, but then that went to the Siegfried, and the Siegfried lost that ability because, again, we can't have nice things. Now, the reason she's further back at number 4 is because you do have to put in quite a bit of work with the Agir to make her work in today's World of Warships with the way that some of the engagements go. But when you can hit her stride, she does fantastically well with printing credits. She is a Tier 9 premium as well, so she has a Tier 9 economy going for you. And do keep in mind, too, since this ship can see super ships, those super ships do count as being double up-tiered, which means you get a boost to your income because you're doing damage to ships that are 2 tiers higher than you. So she's very good at that. Again, the AP is great. Those super battleships pop out, find their broadsides, shove your AP into their broadsides, and just watch the credits roll in. Going on down to number 3, we have the Tier 8 Premium Japanese cruiser, the Atago. The Atago is, first off, just a a great cruiser in general. But she's got quite a bit going for her too. By quite a bit, I mean quite a bit. So, starting off with her guns, she has, of course, Japanese HE with Japanese HE Alpha and an amazing fire chance as well. The Japanese HE has a very high alpha, meaning that when these HE shells connect, they'll be doing quite a bit of damage for starters there. And speaking of starters, they're also quite good at starting fires with the Atago and with the Japanese line in general. So you have great guns. You also have really good concealment too. If you build into the Atago's concealment fully, you can get it down to 9.8 kilometers, which is great because that means this is a cruiser that it's not hard to cap in. Now remember what I was saying with black? Capping is an excellent source of income. It's a very rewarding action to do in game. Then you have torpedoes as well, and you actually have pretty decent torpedo angles here on the Atago. If you go look at the Japanese cruiser line, the torpedo angles are pretty abysmal. You have to be essentially completely broadside to the target in order to get your torpedoes off, but with the Atago you can be angled a bit, which helps you survive the match that much longer. And she also is equipped with a heal. It's a pretty rare thing for Tier 8 cruisers to have heals, and the Atago thankfully does have one. Now her armor is quite frail if you do get caught out in the open with it, and you do need a salvo of battleship AP to your side. You're probably going to lose most of your HP, but thankfully you can regen some of that with your heal, which allows you to then, well, stay in the match longer and do more things and earn more credits. Now, the AP on the Atago is not one to be left out either. The AP is actually pretty good. If you can catch another cruiser's broadside, it can easily citadel them. And the ship's pretty maneuverable too, especially if you want to build into the rudder. This is a cruiser, heavy cruiser, that can maneuver like a destroyer if you really want to. And you can do that, and people do play her like that, and people do play her more like what you see on the screen right now, which is more of a kiting ship. I like to go to the off flank, throw torpedoes down at the target, try to get them to kite me and sell into my torpedoes while I burn them down, and then the flooding gets started, and then, well, now you set fires on with your guns and you'll be raking in the damage in no time. So you got all that on a cruiser that's, again, good at capping, good at doing damage, and all around just good at making you a nice tidy bit of profit. Moving on down to number 2, we have the Tier 8 Premium German light cruiser, the Mainz. So the Mainz is a interesting little boat. What she is a mix of heavy cruiser and light cruiser. She has 150mm guns that you would find on a light cruiser, yet the armor of a heavy cruiser. So she's essentially a light cruiser that can actually take a bit of a hit at times. Of course, still, it is the hipper hull, and those of you that have grinded through the German heavy cruisers, you know just how well armored the hipper hull actually is. But anyway, what she's good at is, well, being a nice little spammy light cruiser. Her 12 150mm guns can certainly get quite the showering of shells down range, and she, just like the Agir, has the German AP. Which means that when she is presented with the broadsides of enemy ships, she can do quite a bit of damage per salvo. And this also includes the superstructure of battleships and such, even if they aren't perfectly flat to you. Now, the HE here is pretty anemic, as it is, of course, the German HE, but it can still get the job done thanks to her rate of fire. Now, of course, if you do have Lucians, and you have him equipped on the Mainz, you can get her main battery reload down even further when you pop his main battery reload skill. Once you get 135 main battery hits on target, which isn't really a tall order in the Mainz. And then, again, that gives you another boost to your DPM and gets you farming even more. Now, the Mainz is a Tier 8 cruiser that can do things at Tier 10 pretty comfortably, and she is pretty good at farming down, well, anything that stays in her range for too long, so she can benefit from that boost you get from doing damage to ships of a higher tier than you, especially so in today's world of warships. Not to mention, she's also pretty good for dealing with destroyers as well, given her rate of fire and her nice flat shell arc. So if any DD does pop up within your main battery range, especially if it's within like 12 kilometers-ish of you, you can dispatch them quite easily. And again, that'll see you a nice tidy bit of profit. Alright, going on down to our number 1 slot, we have the Tier 9 Japanese Premium Large Cruiser, the Azuma. Made a whole video on why this ship is the king of credit printing nowadays, and it's still very much true. So the Azuma is essentially the Yoshino at tier 9 with a couple of changes here and there. I should say rather the Yoshino is the Azuma at tier 10 with a couple of changes here and there since the Azuma was out first. Now also like the Agir, the Azuma is available for free XP right now, but again I believe a patch or two she is being removed for free XP and put in the armory for coal. So you can pretty easily get this ship at this moment. And the Azuma is, well, just a great credit farmer right now. She has Japanese HE on her 305mm guns, which, take what I said about the HE with the Atago and apply that here to even bigger guns with even more HE alpha. This ship is great for burning down just whatever you need to burn down. The battleship sitting, 18 kilometers away from you, the destroyer that pops up next to you, she's great for dispatching those enemies quite quickly. Now the Azuma's weakness, as I'm sure most of you know, is her armor. She is very squishy. You don't really want to be in a situation where you have to take hits in this ship, especially from battleships, but I mean, if you're just talking about just farming, just for credits, just to make credits, this ship, in my opinion, is currently one of the best in the game for it. She has the Tier 9 Premium Economy, which is a very, very generous economy to have. She has those Japanese HE guns that have quite a bit of range to them. You can get them out even further with the catapult plane if you need to. And plus 2, she is, Tier 9. You can see super ships. You can farm super ships down. Again, get the double up tier boost to your income and apply that to the tier 9 premium economy, and you'll be sitting on a nice stack of credits pretty quickly in this thing. Now, is she necessarily the best cruiser in the game for doing cruiser things? Well, if you play her like you're credit farming, no. Because you're just farming damage and trying to grab a cap here and there with the Azuma, which is typically how I play it, because I normally take her out when I need some credits. So, let's say like you've been farming for most of the match, it comes down to the last couple of ships. That's when you can push in, grab a cap or two, and then, granted, at that point, if you've been sitting in the back and farming, you probably have a pretty full health Azuma. Then moving in when most of the enemy ships are at least pretty banged up can be beneficial for your team, but of course it does involve sitting in the back for most of the game. But again, if you're just talking about pure credit farming, this is what I'm playing for, that's how you want to play it. You can play her a little bit closer once you get used to how she plays. You just have to be very mindful of your surroundings, and taking the safety circle skill is a must-have on the Azuma, because you definitely don't want to be in a situation when you have lots of ships aiming at you, because you will explode quite well. But for just farming damage and farming credits, this ship is second to none in my humble opinion. And again, completely free right now for free XP. Even when she does get removed for free XP here in the next couple of patches, she is going to be put in the army for coal as well. So guys, that's my top 5 credit farming, money making premium ships list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday and wonderful rest of your week. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 50,000 subs, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.